People don't acknowledge loneliness in themselves and don't appreciate its benefits, the reflection and attentiveness that come with it, the deepened acquaintance with oneself. You build your mind, so make it into something you want to live with. Love is holy because it is like grace. The worthiness of its object is never really what matters. Generosity is also an act of freedom, a casting off of the constraints of prudence and self-interest. It seems to me people tend to forget that we are to love our enemies, not to satisfy some standard of righteousness, but because God their Father loves them. I owe everything that I have done to the fact that I am very much at ease being alone. Our dream of life will end as dreams do end, abruptly and completely, when the sun rises, when the light comes, because once alone, it is impossible to believe that one could ever have been otherwise. Loneliness is an absolute discovery. Every sorrow suggests 1,000 songs, and every song recalls 1,000 sorrows, and so they are infinite in number, and all the same. Sometimes I have loved the peacefulness of an ordinary Sunday. It is like standing in a newly planted garden after a warm rain. You can feel the silent and invisible life. We experience pain and difficulty as failure instead of saying, I will pass through this. Everyone I have ever admired has passed through this. Music has come out of it. Literature has come out of it. We should think of our humanity as a privilege. I am grateful for all those dark years, even though in retrospect they seem like a long, bitter prayer that was answered finally. Memory is the sense of loss, and loss pulls us after it. There is a saying that to understand is to forgive, but that is an error. So Papa used to say, you must forgive in order to understand. Until you forgive, you defend yourself against the possibility of understanding. The locus of the human mystery is perception of this world. From it proceeds every thought, every art. A man can know his father or his son, and there might still be nothing between them but loyalty and love and mutual incomprehension. For me, writing has always felt like praying, even when I wasn't writing prayers, as I was often enough. You feel that you are with someone. A society is moving toward dangerous ground when loyalty to the truth is seen as disloyalty to some supposedly higher interest. How many times has history taught us this? Ordinary things have always seemed numinous to me. I don't know exactly what covetous is, but in my experience it is not so much desiring someone else's virtue or happiness as rejecting it, taking offense at the beauty of it. Faith for her was habit and family, loyalty, a reverence for the Bible, which was also literary admiration for her mother and father, and then that thrilling quiet of which she had never felt any need to speak. If you had to summarize the Old Testament, the summary would be, stop doing this to yourselves. These people who can see right through you never quite do you justice, because they never give you credit for the effort you're making to be better than you actually are, which is difficult and well-meant and deserving of some little notice. This is an interesting planet. It deserves all the attention you can give it. It's not a man's working hours that is important. It is how he spends his leisure time. You never bother me, Glory. It's remarkable how much you don't bother me. Almost unprecedented. I have always liked the phrase, nursing a grudge, because many people are tender of their resentments as of the thing nearest their hearts. A letter makes ordinary things seem important. That reservoir of goodness, beyond and of another kind, that we are able to do for each other in the ordinary cause of things. Every spirit passing through the world fingers the tangible and mars the mutable, and finally has come to look and not to buy. It felt very good to have him walking beside her. Good, like rest and quiet, like something you could live without but you needed anyway, that you had to learn how to miss, and then you'd never stop missing it. There is more beauty than our eyes can bear. Precious things have been put into our hands, and to do nothing to honor them is to do great harm. When we accept dismissive judgments of our community, we stop having generous hope for it. We cease to be capable of serving its best interests. Any human face is a claim on you, because you can't help but understand the singularity of it, the courage and loneliness of it, but this is truest of the face of an infant. I consider that to be one kind of vision, as mystical as any. I think the essence of family is that you have to agree to it, and then supply, out of your imagination and capacity, for loyalty, the contents of it. A little too much anger, too often or at the wrong time, can destroy more than you would ever imagine. And grace is the great gift. So to be forgiven is only half the gift. The other half is that we also can forgive, restore, and liberate, and therefore, we can feel the will of God enacted through us, which is the great restoration of ourselves to ourselves. It is diversity that makes any natural system robust, and diversity that stabilizes culture against the eccentricity and arrogance that have so often called themselves reason and science. Marilynne Summers Robinson, born November 26, 1943. Robinson was born Marilynne Summers in Sandpoint, Idaho, the daughter of Eileen Harris and John J. Summers, a lumber company employee. Her brother is the art historian David Summers, who dedicated his book Vision, Reflection, and Desire in Western Painting to her. She did her undergraduate work at Pembroke College, the former women's college at Brown University, receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree magna cum laude in 1966, and being elected to Phi Beta Kappa at Brown. One of her teachers was the postmodern novelist John Hawkes. She received her Doctor of Philosophy degree in English from the University of Washington in 1977. Robinson is an American novelist and essayist. Across her writing career, Robinson has received numerous awards, including the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 2005, National Humanities Medal in 2012, and the 2016 Library of Congress Prize for American Fiction. In 2016, Robinson was named in Time magazine's list of 100 most influential people. Robinson began teaching at the Iowa Writers' Workshop in 1991 and retired in the spring of 2016. Robinson is best known for her novels Housekeeping 1980 and The Lead 204. Her novels are noted for their thematic depiction of faith and rural life. The subjects of her essays span numerous topics, including the relationship between religion and science, us history, nuclear pollution, John Calvin, and contemporary American politics.